So this is the second part of the talking about the mortgage chaperoning that I did today, which was kind of interesting. We first had a couple of months ago a guy that basically he entered. He was a stand-up guy. He was replacing the old advisor that she had, and she was basically in the beginning. Her position was, well, I have somebody that does my mortgage, and he keeps it all safe in a file, and he's my representative, and I basically always go to him. It's like you have your personal doctor, you have your personal mortgage brokers, and that's of course the myth they would like you to believe in, because they get an annual rent or even a monthly rent for every product that they sell you. So it's just they're just trying to get patients, just like doctors want to have patients. So this guy was actually doing a good doctor act, looking very serious, and well, now we're going to look at your mortgage, and and the way he approached it is the more standard way, and that is you want to remortgage your house. That's the process of remortgaging your house. So you don't want to, let's say, adjust the individual components of your mortgage, but you just want to completely change your mortgage. You want to start all over again. And for that you also have to fill in forms. And with any sales strategy, there's many sales strategies. You can look somebody deeply in the eye, you can be very certain, you can talk loud, you can go into very high detail in the beginning, which is very exhausting for people, so they lose their discriminative and critical abilities. Or you can bore them to death. And this guy was trying to bore us to death with a questionnaire of about 100 questions, which he said was mandatory. And I was today talking to the other guy, and I talked to another guy about mortgages, and they didn't give us the questionnaire. So it's not mandatory. But he pretended it was. He was very serious about it. Of course, it's a big decision. And his approach was to remortgage, because with a remortgage, you go to a different bank. The different bank pays a different fee. And he has a nice, I talked in the other video about the terrorist. This guy had just, he said, we're not going to accept any commissions with this transaction. We're going to have a fixed fee, and a fixed fee of course is almost as big as the commission. And then he gave us a paper to sign, which was very tricky, because it said, if you read it, and of course I read it, it says we're not going to accept commission in the first year. So what this guy can do, he can go to the bank that he's going to serve. He's saying, you have to put your commission to 0, so I don't get it in the first year. But these commissions run over 5 to 10 years, so in year number 2 I'll get the annual fee. So you won't pay me all at once, but annually. That was in the paper. What also was in there, it said, these advisory talks are free, but if you choose to, get a product with us, we'll calculate those hours and add them to the total at 175 euro per hour. So that's interesting. Well, anyway, his options were, he proved to be very unreliable. First of all, he said there was a deadline to make the decision, or by which he wanted to have this mortgage reorganized. If the counterparty talks about deadlines in a negotiation, you just give them the finger or something like that, stiff it, and get the fuck out of my home. That's basically what you say, because in a negotiation, deadlines. No, that's why Copenhagen negotiations don't work, because you have a deadline. You can't have a deadline. You have to have a good deal. Then you get a deal. But this guy was like that. He said, "I'm going on holiday in December." The arrogance, and then I want to have this all done. And he was, if my friend had been alone, she's the type of woman that would be intimidated by that. That would be impressed and would kind of try to look for ways to get that done. And then he promised to send us the different options. You have the linear, the annuity, you have the savings, and you had the current one. And then you have different banks that he was thinking of. And he was promising all that. And in the end, he didn't do it. He only sent one option with a fee of about 1,800 that didn't change the risky part of the mortgage, which was the stocks and bonds. And that, so it basically didn't help my friend at all. So that's why we went to the other people. So the last one we talked to was in a big office, the most trusted one, and they all tell you that we are the most trusted people. We probably do something right. They always say, and many people come back to us, and we have the biggest clientele in the world. We also represent all banks. And this guy was talking about, we knew from 2 sources, or 3 sources, because I have another friend that's doing that work, that can inform me, because he's just starting with it and he knows everything. If you stay with the same bank, then it's the cheapest, because then you don't have to go through the whole, let's say, vetting process that each bank are allowed to take place. That was not an option with the official big shop, because of course they earn money by giving new clients to banks. I think that's the only reason why people do things these days is because they earn money doing it. And so that was not an option. And there were 2 reasons why that was not an option. And this guy was dead serious in his nice office with a receptionist and all this. First of all, he says you won't be able to find. There's a fee to associate it with staying with the same bank and trying to negotiate that mortgage. And it's a penalty, but you won't be able to find the penalty in the paperwork. Don't look for it. Can you imagine? That's like smack in the face coming to that guy. According to me, if you would ask me, how can you have a contract with certain rights and obligations if these rights and obligations are not described in the contract? That doesn't exist. And we're still living in a just society in Holland, pretty much. So every contract has to stipulate exactly what it stipulates. Otherwise it's not a contract. And you both sign it after reading partially or listening to some liar, apparently, because that's what she did. She believed somebody that clearly gave her the worst deals that she can imagine. That's serious, no problem. Then there was a fixed fee. This video is already very long. Oh no, let's see. Last thing I'll talk about. There was a fixed fee of €4,000 associated with the transferal to a new bank. But that's including the notary and all kinds of stuff. You can deduct that money from your taxes. So it's only 2,400 that you actually pay, €2,400. But of course, he said, no, you shouldn't. You should keep your savings in your savings account. What is a mortgage? It's a savings account. But anyway, you should keep your cash savings in your savings account and not spend it just like that, because what's going to happen if you have a risk. You should put it in the mortgage. And this mortgage rate is now 5%, 5.25%, something like that, 5.25%. And while he was talking, I calculated. That would mean that over the course of the whole mortgage, they would catch about €3,000 extra if you put it in the mortgage. That's why you wanted it in the mortgage. It's just bad advice. Bad advice number 2. First bad advice is it's just a lie. It's amazing, but this guy is official. Anyway, there's much more to tell about the situation, and it's I think an ugly scene, because if you look in the street where we were, there were all types of mortgage shops along the street, and the one we talked to, the entrepreneurial guy, actually has a shop also, and some of these mortgage shops will have to go, and I don't think it's a good market anymore to be in, and I hope it ends really soon. But after she renegotiates her mortgage, and then I hope inflation will skyrocket and all wages will go up a lot, so she won't have a problem with the fact that she's been lied to, and that she's now being put through all kinds of different contortions in order to get out from under this thing. And she's taking care of 3 children with 1 income, so